My name is Debrah Allen Wells. I'd like for you to check out my story on the Parker Daniel Show.
What's up, y'all? When y'all hear that music, y'all know what time it is. I finally have someone in my possession to come in and talk to me on the Parker Daniel Show. I'm going to give her name later on. But in the meantime, I want you all to subscribe, follow, like, share, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. Today we have a very special guest. Her name is Miss Debrah Wells, and she's from, where you from?
Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And I met this individual a long time ago, and we gelled pretty good because I like her personality, and we just meshed just like that. And the way that I met her, because I didn't really know too much about her, I thought she was just a driver for some blind people. Come to find out, she has a great deal of experience in helping out the visually impaired and doing this, that, those, and these. So without further delay, you want some music behind you or you good? What you want?
I'm fine. Either way you want it, Anthony.
I'm going to introduce you, Miss Debrah Wells. She's going to give you a little history of her teachings with the visually impaired up until now, and she's currently working with the Capital City Council of the Blind. So this is your show. Do what you got to do. Handle your business. What's up?
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Again, my name is Debrah Allen Wells. I'm a retired teacher from the East Baton Rouge Parish School System and also from the state of Louisiana. I have 37 years of teaching experience. The last 14 were done at the Louisiana School for the Visually Impaired and Blind. And I graduated from Southern University. I'm a McKinley High School Panther graduate. Also graduated from Louisiana State University and from the University of New Orleans.
Okay, so you have all that knowledge, and here that's the thing about it. You should never judge a book by its cover. Not degrading or anything, or just whatever. I didn't know what you did. So tell the individuals how you had come about working with the people at the school for the visually impaired.
Okay. Prior to working at LSVI, I was employed in West Baton Rouge Parish. I had done over 20 years of teaching there, and I taught in East Baton Rouge Parish for about 12 years. And then, I don't know, I was just reading an article in the paper where they needed a teacher for the visually impaired and blind over at the school, which was located on Government Street at the time.
Right, 1120.
And I applied for it and had an interview. They called me 2 or 3 days later, and the assistant principal at that time told me I had the job if I wanted it, and I did want it. It was a change, it was challenging, and it was something different that I had been doing, for over 20 years plus at that time. I had always worked with special needs students, and this was an opportunity to work with another phase of the special needs students. So I jumped at the chance. I accepted the position, and I stayed there for 14 years until I retired in 2017. And shortly after that, about a year and a half or so, I did go back because I missed the kids. I went back to teaching in the public school system, and that's what I'm currently doing.
Okay, and you say you work with special needs kids?
I work with special need kids all of my career.
Well, as far as special needs, before you started working at the school for the, it was then School for the Blind, or visually, what did you do? What kind of?
I was teaching not visually impaired students. I had special needs students over in West Baton Rouge Parish. At that time it was called self-contained and a resource combination class. And I had about 12 students from ages 10 to about 14 and a half.
And what did you do?
So that's what I did. I taught all subject areas like reading, math, spelling, science, social studies, health. I did not teach PE. Fortunately, I wouldn't be able to do that. But all the core subjects, I did testing with them. I implemented their individual education plans, which is required by all states to do for the kids, and just work with them to the best of my ability and the best of their ability as well.
Was it a challenge in terms of doing it?
It was very challenging. It was. I had quite a few students who did graduate from the program and from high school. From time to time I run into them and, Miss Wells, what are you doing now? And I tell them I'm retired and things like that. So I've had vast experience with working with special needs kids, but I also taught previously 5th grade reading and language arts.
Okay. Well, I want to stick on the special needs for a minute.
Okay.
When you say special needs, what were there diverse in the special needs, or was it just people who had learning disabilities, or what?
Yeah, it was huge diversity. I had some children who had been identified as autistic. I've had children who were developmentally delayed. I've had children who were confined to wheelchairs, and just various differences. But they were afforded the same opportunity that a regular student was. It was just that when you work with a special needs child, you have to plan a little bit differently.
Right.
You give them the same information, but you may present it in a different way.
Okay.
So
now, as I bounce back and forth, because that's what I do, working with individuals who are totally blind and visually impaired, how was the situation? What was the challenge like as far as working with them?
now that was the ultimate challenge. I had never worked around children who were visually impaired or blind. But I started off with 9, I called them my babies. They're all my babies anyway, but they were very young. They were from the ages of 3 to 6 at that time. And they were children who needed a lot of help. They needed a lot of love, which they got at home, I'm sure, from their parents, but at school it's a difference, and you need to love them there as well. Some of them I had to teach how to eat, how to feed themselves. They had self-help skills, how to dress themselves, how to use the bathroom. And as I said, they were very young, so the things that I work with them with were the same things that you would do with a normal baby, a regular baby, as far as learning how to eat, how to walk, how to talk, how to say yes, no, thank you, please, and things of that nature. But they were young children at that time.
So if I stop you for a second, and I'll just focus on this just for a minute. You were doing things that maybe their parents should have been doing, or why, as a teacher, why were you doing those particular things?
Well, they were younger children who had real special needs, and if they're young children identified as babies, maybe we'll say from the ages of 2 to 4, these are things that the parents do automatically at home.
Right.
They work with their children on eating, work with them on dressing, identifying pictures for those who did have some vision.
Okay.
We work with them on simple Braille skills, with smells, the different scents.
Oh, that's okay.
And, the parents, I'm sure, at home were doing the very same
But
thing.
y'all were more taking it to like another
we were
level,
just taking it to the next level,
Right.
I should say, yeah.
Okay.
And self-help skills, they had to know how to pick up their toys when they finished playing with them. Everything that a regular student or a regular baby would do, they had to learn how to do those things too, but it was just presented to them in a different way.
Okay, well, let me go off the cuff because I'm starting to do it with my guests. Speaking of helping kids pick up toys, you think you want to come by and help my son? He has a tendency to leave toys on by me being visually impaired.
Absolutely.
I'm stepping on, kicking on, all kinds of things like that.
Yeah, I know how that is. That's
Right.
kind of hard to get them to do it. But, you set a little goal maybe for them to do, and each time they pick a toy up, the toy should have a designated place to go,
Right.
like a
Okay.
shelf or on the bed or something.
Okay.
And each time they do it, I'd reward them.
Okay, well, hey, I'm
Maybe
gonna
you
take
should
that
do
definitely.
that.
Advice. Okay, I definitely. So, you were speaking of Braille. Are you? Do you have what's the word I'm looking for? Training skills to teach Braille? Are
I
you
do.
Certified. That's what
I
I'm
do,
looking for.
yeah.
Oh, really?
In order to, well, I had to go back to school to become certified in working with VI students. That's when I went to UNO in New Orleans
I've been there before.
and took the courses there. So after I took those courses, I was certified and took the test. I was certified to teach Braille as
Okay.
well.
Now, as I segue into something of this situation, like when you work with individuals who were visually impaired, did you develop any type of a rapport with any of them?
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
Talk briefly about it.
Well, I think that I've always had a very good rapport with all of my students. with their parents and with people just in generally. I'm just a people person, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Anything I can do to help, if I can do it, I will. The rapport that I developed with the kids was the same thing with their parents. You know, I worked very closely with the children at school, sometimes even after school, and also with the parents. Like sometimes parents would call me and say, oh, Miss Wells, you know, I need to know about whatever. And I say, well, give me a few minutes, I'll call you back and let you know about that.
Okay.
I mean, my parents and I just stayed in close contact with each other.
Okay.
And I think that's the rapport that I developed with them, was to let them know what their child or children, because I've had sets of kids in my classroom who were brothers and sisters and things like that. And I would just let the parents know what they're doing, what I expect, and whatever I needed, I could get from the parent, you know, if the school could not provide it. So that's the rapport that I had with them.
So did you also serve like a liaison between the schools and the parents, or, you know, it's just like you mentioned that whatever you needed, whatever the people needed, they would call you and you would probably, so you were like them?
Yeah, I did. Like we would go on field trips. And I love field trips.
Me too. I remember those.
I would tell the parents, you know, they need to maybe wear this.
Right.
If the child was in pull-ups or diapers, I would say, well, we need extra diapers, we need extra pull-ups, we need extra clothing. I always tried to make sure that I had at least 3 changes of clothing every day for my kids, because, you know, accidents happen when children are young. And that was for the younger group. And as I got to the point where I got the older children, I still had that rapport with the parents. If I say Johnny needs $5 for the trip, they'd send the $5, you know, or whatever it was.
So So I want to ask you this question, because of the fact that you weren't familiar with working with individuals who were visually impaired. That was your first time. Upon working with them for maybe 6 or 7 months, was there any time, just be honest, that you got frustrated because, like, well, this was something new, and this, you know, you didn't really know what to expect, or you really had the patience regardless? You know what I'm saying?
No, I never felt that way, and I think anybody that knows me could
vouch,
answer that and vouch for me. Yeah, my love has always been for children. If not, I would not have been able to stay in education as long as I did. Actually, I did 40 years, but the state only gave me credit for 37. But 40 years of teaching is a long time, and you can't fake loving kids that long. So no, it was extremely challenging. Sometimes I'd be upset because I would think perhaps there was more that I could do. I would be upset with myself, not with the kid and not with the parent. But I always felt that there was more that I could do. Everybody who I used to work with, they say, I'm as well just spoil those kids. Just spoil. Well, I did. I do. I do. That's what they're for. You're supposed to spoil them. But no, I never felt that I was misplaced. You know, God has a place for all of us, and I think that at the time that I accepted that position, that was the place that God wanted me to be then.
That's what's up, man. They need more people, you know, like you, who have the mentality. No, and I'm not just saying that because, you know, I don't really get too many compliments, but really just hearing from you, I mean, I really did not even know that much that, you know, in what you've done and whatnot. So I thank you for doing
thought
what
it was
you're
the
doing.
driver.
I just thought, speaking of drivers, we're going to segue into that. How did you become the driver for the Capital City Council of the Blind? Let me get that right, because Miss Campbell already.
She'll get you.
She's fortunate. It's not for the blind, it's
for
the
blind. Right.
So go ahead.
You know, I really don't know how I got involved in it. I think by being a person with vision, they had a couple of drivers before me, I understand, and I know one of them very good. He and I are real good friends. And he was driving, but of course he was working a lot and working on weekends. And by me teaching, you know, my weekends were free. So their meetings are all designed on like a Saturday. So somebody, and I think it was probably Miss Campbell, just asked me as well, you know, we need another driver. Do you think you could drive for us a couple of times? And I said, sure. And then a couple of turned into 3 more, and 3 turned into 10. And, you know, it just went on and on and on. And I am a member of Capital City Council.
If you let me. I like this lady. So what are you at, besides being a driver? You know what I'm
Okay, I'm a member of the Capital City Council of the Blind, and I'm also a member of the Louisiana Council of the Blind, and I've been with them now, I think maybe about 8 years.
Okay.
So it affords me two things. I can drive for them, and I can also attend the meetings. The conferences, we have a state conference every year. We have a national conference every year. And I've been going, I don't think I've missed any since I've been a member.
Okay.
And
what is your position on the seat, on the board for the Capital City Council?
previously, I was secretary for LCB and also for Capital City Council of the Blind. But now you are that person, and I'm
this is
so
not my interview,
happy.
So I don't want, okay. And what's your position for the Capital?
I'm still just a driver.
Oh, okay.
I'm still the
I thought
driver.
you were like on the board or something like that.
Well, I'm on the board for Affiliated Blind of Louisiana. I am on the board for them, located in, well, their office is in Lafayette, but we also have a Baton Rouge chapter.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I'm a member of that.
Okay, well, you're just all over the boards and places and everything. I want to, again, commend you for everything that you've done. So, you still run into any individuals who you've mentored / taught back in the days at the School for the Visually Impaired? Because Angela talks about you a great deal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I do go over to the school occasionally. I go especially and support them when they have White Cane Day, which is done every year downtown. And we try and get people to come out to really find out what visual impairment and blindness is all about. That's the purpose of that. And we do get the mayor, and we get a few more other people, you know, to come down and test walk with the canes and things like that. And it's surprising, Anthony, a lot of people here in Baton Rouge, and I'm sure elsewhere, really don't know about visual impairment and blindness.
That's a shame. I'm startled.
Well, I've spoken to some people who never knew that Louisiana School for the Blind even existed.
Get out of here.
In fact, one of the members of the organization, I talked with him, and he's visually impaired. He's not totally blind. And he was saying when he was coming up, his parents didn't know anything about the school. At that time, it was the Southern School for the Blind.
Right.
But it's since changed, you know, we've combined now. And the only way that he and his parents found out about it, the person that his father worked for is the individual who told him about the school. And I'm talking about years ago, not recently.
You would think that people would know about this school.
Well, they don't.
Wow.
They don't.
Well, we're hoping that things like this with the show and people like you doing what you're doing could bring a great deal of awareness, because there's some blind people that are, you know, little kids that may be coming up and need some type of guidance, and hopefully they'll find some people like you that have the compassion to do what you do.
And hopefully through your show, they're going to find out.
I'm hoping a great deal, bringing on people like you. So with that being said, I would like for you to give some positive thoughts to people out there, and let them know, you know, that they still, regardless of the visually impairment or just any impairment, they still have the ability to do and whatnot. We're going to close and everything like that.
Okay. What I'd like to say to everyone is that please do not ever think that because an individual is blind or visually impaired that he or she cannot do. They can do anything that they set their mind to do. They may have to go about it another way, another fashion. It may take them a little bit longer, but these people are employable. They're educated people, and they can just do only if somebody gives them an opportunity, if someone gives them a chance. Never doubt what they can do. Do not doubt a child that's in school who may be behind a little bit. They can do it all. Just give them a chance to do it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And with that, I'm going to say that I want my subscribers to continue to stay, to continue to share, hit the like button, follow, tell a friend, and whatnot. You will get stories such as this. And I want to give you a hug.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for actually coming on the show and giving your viewpoint, because like I said, I thought she was just our driver.
Well, I still do drive.
But she does more. So anyway, with 10 seconds left, tell individuals why they should support the Parker Diamond Show if you can.
It's a wonderful show. I watch it all the time, and I tell a lot of my friends to watch it. It's very educational and it's extremely informative. So please watch it.
Thank you so much. And again, this is Miss Debrah Wells, and I'm out.